Yo! Hey everybody, this is for everyone who says that I'm always late. Finally, I'm on time. Hello, wherever you are in the world. Hello, if you're in France, if you're in Italy, if you are in the United States, if you are in Asia. Hello. And welcome to the place where I'm staying for the foreseeable future. It's a long story. I've been on tour for the past few months, and in the end, between my family being in Europe, between my mom not being so well in Europe, between my partner not being American, I kind of ran out of places to be. And the most important thing in a moment like this is not to be too far away from the people that you love. So I've ended up in Athens, in an apartment in the center of Athens. And although we're not completely in lockdown over here, all the restaurants are shut and the shops are shut and a lot of the parks are shut, and they are asking people to choose for their own reasons and for the safety also of the country and also of, each individual to kind of limit the amount of people that they're hanging out with. So we have chosen to hang out with hardly anyone, basically no one. And I'm here with my partner Andy, and I'm waving a spoon around like a crazy person. I'm going to speak mostly in English today. Alors, je vais parler un tout petit peu en français aussi, un po' in italiano. Puedo hablar también un poquito en español. But today, I'm just kind of going to try out something new. And my idea was this. When I'm at home, I'm always focused on two things. Not necessarily music all the time, because, being a touring musician and also going and working and writing songs, of course music is the fundamental thing in my life. But when I'm home, I think of food, cooking, obviously, the food, not just takeout all the time, and I think of music. And that is what changes everything. So I figured, if I'm going to be stuck at home, and you are all stuck at home, and we don't know how long it's going to go on for, and let's face it, this situation sucks. This is one of the strangest, most surreal moments that all of us have ever lived through. I'm 36 years old. A lot of you are younger, a lot of you are older, but most of us who are on right now, and I see there's about 4,000 people on, have never lived through something like this. Haven't, actually. So in these surreal times, I think that a little bit of intimacy is very important. And what is more intimate? Well, I say it with a wooden spoon in my hand, but what is more intimate than cooking in your own kitchen? So this is where I'm staying right now, and it's a tiny kitchen. Well, it's not that tiny, it's actually really nice, but it's well stocked. And as you can tell, I came from my tour, and so over here, this is Andy's pass, but this is the pass that we had on us when we came from Australia, and we were on tour and we were supposed to go to Asia, but as you all know, we weren't able to do that, and South America got cancelled, and now North America's been cancelled. But let's not dwell on any of that. We're in a kitchen and we're cooking. And so what am I going to cook? Qu'est-ce que je vais cuisiner pour la première fois pendant que je commence à faire ça? Alors j'ai fait plein de trucs, je suis pas dans un fauteuil rouge. Non sono a X Factor, non sono a casa Mika, questo è veramente casa mia in questo momento, questo è casa nostra. Stasera, casa nostra, cosa cuciniamo? Ladies and gentlemen, the most fundamental food. It ain't a frog's legs mousseline, and it's not a twice-baked Stilton souffle, although that would be really good, and I do know how to make it. But tonight, we're going straight to the heart. And the heart is, well, it's always going to be what your mama cooks for you, isn't it? And when I got back from anything, when I was tired, when I was upset, when I did really badly on my exams, and when I did really well on my exams, there was one dish that my mom made for me. Tomato sauce and spaghetti. So as you can tell, allora, gli italiani che stanno guardando, sì, farò stasera il sugo al pomodoro, anche con gli spaghetti. Non posso parlare, sono imbarazzato, questa è la verità, perché cucinare di fronte a tutti gli italiani e anche ai francesi è una cosa terrificante, però lo farò, lo superò questo imbarazzo perché comunque lo stiamo facendo tutti insieme. Dunque, I'm gonna make spaghetti with tomato sauce. My mom makes this sauce that for some reason always has this home taste, this kind of umami. She makes it and I can't replicate the way that she makes it, but I've learned how to make it from her. So I'm going to be doing this. And of course, I'm also going to be listening to music. So if we're talking about, not embarrassing things, but cooking tomato sauce in front of people is a bit embarrassing because everybody cooks it in their own way. So everyone has their own rules. And you're all probably going to be saying, don't do it that way. Ah, che schifo, perché lui sta mettendo l'aglio prima di questo, perché non sta mettendo abbastanza acqua, perché lui ha utilizzato quel tipologia di pomodori. But tonight, be nice. Gentili. On doit être sympathique. Donc, ne critiquez pas trop ma sauce tomate. Entonces, necesitamos empezar. Pero no podemos empezar sin un poquito de música. So, what's the tomato sauce equivalent of a song when you're in a kitchen? There is only one song that matches up to tomato sauce when you're in a kitchen, and it's this. And if my sauce doesn't work, it's Sonos's fault. That maybe my career will never recover once you've seen me dancing and singing to Cher while chopping tomatoes and the following on board. But I don't care, because if my career is going to end, it might as well end joyfully like this. Okay, obviously, when if I'm not holding the camera, I can't see any of your messages, but still, it's alright. So I have started chopping earlier. Here's a Blue Peter moment, everybody. Here's some I made earlier. Well, I figured if I'm going to talk to the camera, I don't want to chop off all my fingers as well. So but I did do that myself, and I realize now I might have been a little bit nervous while I was preparing this because I've chopped a lot of tomatoes. And we're only 2 people here. But the good thing about tomato sauce is that you basically make loads of it, and in times like this it's a perfect food, because if you have these good tomatoes, you just find them and then you make a sauce. you use the sauce that you want to use. The rest of it, you either put it in the fridge or you stick it in the freezer, and then you can make loads of things with it. Chicken with olives and tomato sauce. You can make loads of different, fish dishes with tomato sauce. Anything you really want. So, normally, if I'm in normal times, and if I was able to go back to Florence at the moment, when I was in Tuscany, there's this little shop, and I drive over and I go to this little shop, and the grocers in this shop in Tuscany, in Toscana, io prendo la macchina e vado verso un paese che si chiama Cerbaia, e lì a Cerbaia c'è questo piccolo negozio dove vendono solamente le verdure. And there they taught me that actually, depending on the season, you have to mix your tomatoes. So you mix some, different plum tomatoes, the round ones that come more from central Italy, the plum ones or whatever, the slightly sun-dried ones that come down from the south. Then when the delicious Sicilian tomatoes come in the summer and late, even into September and October, then you use those. But you always have to balance acidity, sweetness. That's the secret. Today, I don't have that choice. So after all that fancy talk, quite frankly, I went to the supermarket. and I waited in a queue where everyone has to be about 2.5 meters away from each other. So even though we're not on full quarantine here, there's a lot of the same rules as in Paris, for example, where some of my family are stuck in quarantine. Like many of you are, I imagine. J'imagine qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont à Paris et en France qui sont en train de me regarder. Ma famille est là-bas aussi. Et même ici, il y a plein de règles qu'on doit suivre. Et c'est important de les suivre. Donc même au supermarché. Donc I waited in the supermarket line, I went in, and I have to say here in Athens, people are really calm. They're calm, they're gracious, people are really kind. There's this kind of serenity that is really reassuring. No one's screaming, no one's like toppling over themselves. There's no panic, people are worried. Old people, you don't see any on the street at the moment because, as you know, the yayas, they were nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize a few years ago. The yayas are one of the most important things in this country, and they're the old ladies, the old grandmothers of this country. Well, trust me, you're not going to see any yayas right now because they're at home and they're being taken care of also by the people who are delivering food because they are massively at risk. But I went into the supermarket and there was one type of tomato. I don't, it's probably been grown in some lab somewhere and it's been gassed and argoned and, forced matured, but whatever. It is what we have, and if you know how to make a good sauce, even with these kind of forced tomatoes that are not necessarily in season right now, it still can taste good. And also, you need a good passata and some good chopped tomatoes. So this is the bastard's version of a tomato sauce. È un po' la versione bastarda di un sugo, non è quello tradizionale tutto mischiato perfettamente con tutto di stagione, però comunque è un cibo che ti fa un grandissimo abbraccio, dunque anche nei momenti di stress è una cosa facile da fare che ti dà un grandissimo abbraccio. If I keep on talking more languages, I swear to God I'm going to fall over and I'm going to get language dizzy. Anyway, for a good sauce, you also need good onions and good garlic. Lots of garlic. You know the thing about cooking and chopping garlic and onions, I found out that actually I made this huge mistake because the one thing I really don't like. Macy Gray. She's amazing. She's such a good artist and a good singer. I met her once. I was working with William Orbit in Los Angeles and we had been writing some songs with this amazing girl, Priscilla Renee, and some songs actually that one of them ended up being sung by Donna in one version or another. Not changed a lot. And anyway, Macy Gray walks into the studio, and she was really cool. And she was exactly what I thought she would be, you know? She sounded the way, like kind of Marge from The Simpsons. She had this big smile, and she was super curious. She wanted to hear what we were doing in the studio, which doesn't really happen often, because most of the time, you know, people kind of don't care what other people in the studios are doing. It's really sad. You go into these fancy studios like Jim Henson in Los Angeles, and you'll have loads of artists going around there, but no one cares what the other artist is really doing, and it's just like everyone's in their own castle, and that's kind of sad. Especially when you think of Jim Henson. You know, when you listen to Tapestry by Carole King, there are vocals on there that were done by Joni Mitchell, and obviously, I mean, it just, you know, the cross-contamination and the kind of the fact that people were joining in and singing and playing on each other's records is kind of incredible. Why Joni Mitchell? Because she was working in the studio next door, and so she just did BBs on Tapestry on Carole King's record. It's incredible. I love Macy Gray. Oh, I remember what I was saying about the onion and the garlic. So, when you cook and you're chopping onion and you're chopping garlic, apart from the fact that you should always keep your fingers like this whenever you're chopping anything, okay? I always thought that if I go over and I'd wash my hands with really hot water, then the smell would go away. It's not true. You've got to wash your hands with cold water, because then the pores of your skin stay closed, and less of the smell and the oil from the garlic, although it does smell really good, it smells like happy summer, they don't go into your skin. When you're cooking, it's nice to smell of garlic and onion. A little later in the night, it's not ideal. So you don't really need to chop your garlic super, super fine. Ah. I found this olive oil here about 2 days ago, before the shops closed. I don't know where it's from, because it's from Lesbos it's Lesbos Island in Greece, and obviously in Lesbos there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's a lot of tensions, there's a huge amount of problems. I work with the UNHCR from time to time, and I'm very much aware of the really difficult situation that is currently presenting itself in the refugee camps around Greece, some on the island of Lesbos, obviously, and hopefully, God willing, the problem with the coronavirus is going to be under control, because just to think of people who are already having a hard time in refugee camps, who have had a hard time for years, who are being pushed away from one place, rejected by another. But I don't even only think about Greece, I think about all the refugees that are also in Lebanon, for example, and some of the economic refugees that we're currently seeing around, you know, Latin and South America. But the idea of something like coronavirus, the impact that it could have, the devastation that it could have in those communities and in those camps, life is already hard enough. This is just a whole other level of challenge, and on top of that, you know, these are people who live off of what they are given by associations, by charity, by government grants, and by government aid, and all of that is being put under pressure as well. And we're starting to see that a little bit everywhere. in different sectors as well. I was supposed to perform at the GLAAD Awards in Los Angeles. I was nominated for an award this year. I was going to perform. It's at Beverly Hills. It costs GLAAD a hell of a lot of money to put on. GLAAD is a charity. It survives from the money that people get. They cancelled this and they have lost $2 million, which for GLAAD, for anyone and for any company, is a lot of money. For GLAAD, this LGBTQI charity, is a huge amount of money. It actually threatens the livelihood and the existence of that association and that charitable organization. So check out GLAAD. Go out, and if you don't know what they do, go and find out what they do, because it's quite remarkable. So to all the peeps at GLAAD, I send you an enormous amount of love, and I'm so sorry that this isn't happening this year, and I'm so honoured to have been involved in one way or another, and to have been invited to perform, and also to have been nominated. So I really wish you guys the best, and if you want to help GLAAD out and you want to give some money, you can find out all the details on the website, GLAAD. Just Google it and it'll lead you to the place that you need to be to find out more. Carrot? So, yeah, I talk too much and now this is too hot, and if I put the oil, which is really good oil, into the really, really hot pan, I'm gonna ruin the oil, ruin the sauce, and it's gonna stink, and my hair's gonna stink. Don't want that. I think we need something more fun. Okay. Oh no, it's getting hot again. Ooh. My favorite. Put a lot of oil. A lot. Don't want it to burn. You want it to get just a little bit brown. And then when you put it in, it's got to go. So, come, listen. And now if I put the onions in, it's got to go. Listen. Shit. It didn't go. Screw it. want the onions to confit, to get confit, to get really translucent and to melt, right? In others, you kind of, I'm going to be cooking this for a long time, probably a lot longer than you're going to be watching. So I don't want them to get too confit, but I want them to go clear. And I was taught a trick. If you are frying the onions, add some salt whilst you're frying them right away. If you actually get a salt grinder that works. It's the magic cupboard. Anyway, the salt, while you're frying it, will help it go translucent. And that's what you want. You want it to go translucent, but you don't want to melt it completely. This is the simplest dish in the world. È la cosa più semplice nel mondo da fare. I'd love to make a bolognese one day as well, because I was taught how to make the ragu. And the bolognese that I was taught how to make by someone from Bologna, you have the soffritto, which is the base of everything. So you have your celery, your carrots, and your onion. And you fry that up into this delicious umami base of everythingness. And then you also add your brown meat, and then you add milk, a lot of milk, and you let the milk reduce all the way down. And once it's reduced, you add a lot of white wine, and you let that reduce. And then you add your tomatoes, and you put it on a flame where that's so low, you just get one little bubble popping out. Every 10 seconds or every 15 seconds or even less if you have the patience. If you're a grandma in Bologna, una nonna a Bologna, you have the patience. If you're an impatient, half Lebanese, spoiled brat like me, you don't have the patience. So it's really easy. Fry the garlic, don't wait too long so that it doesn't burn, because that ruins everything. Add in the onion with some salt, be generous with your olive oil, and after a while, we're just going to add the tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, and later we're going to add the chopped tinned tomatoes and a little bit of passata, and let it cook. I'm not going to cover this, because if I cover it, then it will encourage it to get confit, and I don't want to do that, really. So I'm going to speak in Italian just for a couple minutes, because I want to talk about something that's going on there as well. Ovviamente la situazione in Italia è una cosa gravissima, è una cosa terrificante. Di vedere quello che sta succedendo nel paese in questi giorni, in queste settimane, tutti i numeri, a un certo punto mi spaventa tantissimo di vedere tutti questi numeri delle vittime e di quello che sta succedendo. So che lo sforzo di rimanere a casa, di mantenere assolutamente una distanza dagli altri, all'inizio sembrava un'assurdità, adesso è totalmente essenziale, è una cosa importantissima. È pazzesco come sta cambiando il mondo, come ha cambiato così velocemente la nostra vita quotidiana. In tutto questo anche ci sono tutti quelli che non possono lavorare in questo momento, e anche ci sono tantissimi amici miei che hanno ristoranti. Dunque so che per esempio i miei amici Andrea Acciati e Monica Magnini, che hanno questo ristorante fantastico nel Piemonte a Santo Stefano Belbo, loro sono spaventati, non sanno come fare. C'è anche la mia amica Viviana Varese, e Viviana Varese infatti mi ha un po' ispirato per fare quello che sto facendo adesso, cucinando con voi. Lei mi ha chiesto un po' di settimane fa di cucinare a casa, di fare un piccolo video e dire: io cucino a casa. Scusate. Anche come un gesto di solidarietà per tutti quelli che hanno questi ristoranti, negozi, ristoranti, piccoli, grandissimi, non importa, lo stress e anche il futuro è molto insicuro, dunque lo stress è enorme. Dunque, grazie Viviana Varese per questa idea fantastica, tu sei una grandissima chef. Ho parlato con Fabio Picchi, che ha Cibreo anche a Firenze, dove vado spesso, e lui ha un negozio che si chiama Cibio, dunque i suoi ristoranti sono chiusi, però il Cibio in questo momento ha ridotto quello che stanno facendo il pane, stanno facendo anche la spedizione a casa per le persone anziane che non possono andare fuori. Anche se una persona sta ordinando solamente un piccolo pane e anche una bottiglia di latte, loro fanno la spedizione a casa, che io trovo una cosa geniale. Stanno anche mandando il cibo per le scuole a Firenze. Devo dire che questa cosa di spedire a casa quello che le persone hanno bisogno, anche quando non c'è un minimum spend, quando non c'è un minimo da spendere, per una persona che ha bisogno di aiuto, che non ha tantissimo soldi, è una cosa incredibile e molto importante. E questo mi ha sollevato un po' il cuore, perché mi sono detto, ecco anche un altro piccolissimo esempio di quello che sta succedendo nel mondo, dove anche il business si mette a parte per un po'. E questo è una cosa molto bella, che è importante di rendere omaggio a questi gesti. So che tantissimi fra di voi stanno facendo una cosa o un'altra in una maniera simile. Tomato time. Now this time I'm going to see if it goes psh. If it doesn't, then don't blame me, blame the oven. Oh! These tomatoes actually look good. They've got a nice red color, they've got a good amount of juice. I mean, they're not the ripest tomatoes in the world, but that's okay. You know what they say, a bad workman blames his tools. Master always makes a good sauce. Which would inevitably make me an idiot. Bear with me. The good thing about Instagram is that you're not going to be able to taste what I'm making. Music, help me. I'm a musician. Please. I am not a chef. Oh, you know what? I like this. I love Beth Ditto. I like her Instagram. It makes me laugh. I love her. She's intelligent. She's sassy. She's funny. She's cool. She's an icon, especially for the LGBTQI community. She has been an omnipresent, constant source of inspiration, strength, and a reference point. So, Beth Ditto, I love
It's a cruel world to face on, but every Christ can't be alone. The lights are on, but everyone's got it's a funny way to make ends meet when the lights are out on every street. It feels alright, but it never can be without you.
Why is it that wine always tastes better when you're cooking? So, what am I drinking? So it's Greek, and it's it's not in English. Oh, wait a minute. This is from Yanina, produced and bottled by Zoinos Winery Zitsas Yanina. I'm in Athens. I'm staying here during these days. I shouldn't have touched my nose just now, but it's just me at home, so it's okay. But I'm in Athens, and obviously a lot of all the wine shops are shut now, so it's what you get in the supermarket. But this came from a cellar that I got a few days ago. And I went in and I was like, okay, if I'm going to be home, I want good wine, and can you show me all? I don't want wines that I know, I want wines to discover. So I wanted Syrah grapes, I wanted all these different kind of local varieties as well. And I was like, every time, you know, not every night, I'm not going to drink a bottle of wine every night, but every time I drink a wine, I would like it to be something that's different, as opposed to what I have regularly, whether it's in Tuscany or in France, those wines that I love. But this is interesting. So I don't know this wine. It's a guy in a little tiny shop in Pagrati that recommended this wine to me. And I'm unable to even tell you what grape it is because it's not in English. It's just in Greek. And that actually makes me like it even more, because it means that they're making wine for the domestic market more than anything. And they don't really care about sending this over to Walgreens in America and getting it on the shelf of Publix or Walgreens or Whole Foods. And so actually when you don't see English on the back of a bottle of wine, it's quite reassuring. It shows that it's got less of a commercial intention. And let's face it, a lot of wines are super commercial, and you might not be able to feel it in your mouth right away, but you certainly feel it in your head and in your forehead the day after. So, I'm going to ask my assistant Andy, can you tell me please what wine this is?
Vlachiko.
Vlachiko.
Λέγεται. Syros.
Syros? It's Syrah. What does that mean? You don't understand anything either.
Vlachiko.
Vlachiko. I have no idea what that is, and neither does he. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you what it tastes like. It's this. Do you remember this band? Do you remember this band? And do you remember this song? Do you remember this? This is... it's funny because when I found out that Glastonbury was cancelled this year, you know, I was supposed to do Coachella, I was supposed to do Lollapalooza in South America, I was supposed to do so many shows across North America, and anyway, whatever. My heart is kind of broken about all of that. But when I've read that Glastonbury was cancelled, it's surreal, and you're sitting there thinking, if Glastonbury's cancelled, if Coachella's cancelled, is the Olympics cancelled? Is this really what our life is going to be like for the next few months? But in the midst of all that, a song popped into my head, and I remember meeting these guys at Glastonbury, and they were backstage, and they were just this bubble of exotic, sexy joy, this collective pop disorder, and I adored them. And I just remember seeing this song being played at a festival, and I was watching it from the side of the stage, and for some reason, in the past few days, it's been running around my head. This is CSS. So the tomato sauce is bubbling away, and I haven't put in anything, none of the tin stuff. I love this packaging. This is what I found near the house, the Greek Canning Company. And So I haven't put any of the tin stuff into the tomato sauce yet. I'm just going to let that get a little bit more yummy before I do that. So the cork is super clean. The wine seems to be very clear. There's not much sediment. I don't know if that's a reflection of the tannins. And we'll see. It smells super kind of polished, and it knows exactly what it is supposed to be, at least from the cork. Let's see. Wow, the colour's kind of ruby-ish. It smells like Syrah. And you see that kind of yummy purpley colour? So, just kind of... It's really good. It's super light. The taste is as translucent as the colour that's on the cork. But that's not disappointing. It's actually really drinkable. And it has this real hint of pepper and blackberry that kind of comes in, but without the sugar and without the gloopiness and without those hardcore tannins. You don't feel like someone's crushed up pencil shavings or little bits of dried anchovy bones and shoved it in there. It's not a kind of plumped up precocious wine. This is a light, elegant wine that tells a really nice little story. I don't know how it's going to open up, but that pepper thing is really yummy. Just this little bit, it's like imagine if you took a grape and you chewed it with the seeds and you get that hint of licorice. Well, there's a little bit of that. I mean, it could have a little bit more body. It's a bit young, it's 2017. But for now, it's perfect. Okay, so the sauce now is getting to a point where I like the colour, and I'm going to add in the tin stuff. I haven't put in any herbs, I haven't put in any wine. I don't want anything to interfere with the taste. And here's the trick, always, it's the best bit. Alors, salut à tout le monde qui est en France, qui est en train de regarder. Et je me suis dit qu'en fait, ce qui était super important, c'était de trouver une manière de préserver l'intimité, même si on est tous très loin. Au moins, on peut faire des autres choses, des choses exceptionnelles. Bon, ça, c'est pas très exceptionnel, mais c'est juste le fait que, franchement, ça, c'est l'appartement à Athènes où je suis en train de rester pendant, bon, je pense qu'on va être là au moins quelques semaines. Et ma famille est en France, est en Europe. Mon compagnon ne pouvait pas aller aux États-Unis avec moi, donc on était bloqués. Et donc je l'ai suivi ici à Athènes. Lui, il est moitié grec, il s'appelle Andreas. Et bref, c'est un moment très étrange pour tout le monde. C'est un moment très triste, mais je pense que, comme j'ai dit, la chose la plus importante, c'est aussi d'avoir une sorte d'intimité et de provoquer cette intimité d'une manière ou d'une autre, même en faisant quelque chose tout simple et tout bête comme ce qu'on est en train de faire ici. Vous êtes à la maison, moi je suis à la maison, on est très loin, mais on est tous ensemble et très unis. Juste à travers une sauce tomate et ma petite playlist sur Spotify Sonos. Bon, là ça roule. You know what? Okay, there's a kind of theme from CSS, the lead singer that was jumping around in her cat suit, to Beth Ditto, this icon of alternative, rock and LGBTQI inspiration, and also a really pretty, amazing woman and kind woman. Another strong woman, who I actually think is kind of incredible. And I've recently watched her documentary, and it really hit me how amazing she is. And so, except I can't find her. I know, because I misspelled it. There's a dot in between each letter. Have you guessed who it is yet? Have you? M dot I dot MIA. So, here, take it. Try it. So obviously, spaghetti, tomato sauce. I actually have some chicken there. You might have seen it. I got it locally, and actually I'm going to make two things. I'm going to make some chicken in the pan with black olives, oregano, a really good mix of peppers, red pepper, black pepper, and green pepper, some red wine, and the tomato sauce. But also I'm going to make some spaghetti. But the spaghetti, actually, there's more to it than just going and getting the most obvious spaghetti that you can get. Obviously, we know what the big brands are. And the truth is, a lot of them suck. And it doesn't taste good. And if you're looking for a really simple way of choosing a good spaghetti, look at the protein content on the back of the packet. And try and get this thing called grano duro, so it's really good. But you know, real pasta manufacturers in Italy are really under threat. God knows what's going to happen after this. But in the past few years, there's been a lot of pasta manufacturers that have needed a lot of help. Because these big brands come in and they just take over everything. It's just not as good. Even dry pasta is artisanal. Dry pasta doesn't have to come from some giant factory and you have to get the same brand in every single shop. Why? It's not fair. I'm going to play something that I love. I love this singer. She's just an amazing singer. She's a remarkable vocalist. We're friends, and we have this strange turbulent friendship, and we talk, we don't talk, and I don't know why, and then we talk again, and then she leaves me a message, but then when I try and call her back, she doesn't answer my calls. And it goes on for months, years, but I don't care about any of that, because beyond someone that I know, she's a performer and a singer that I admire enormously. And it just, you know, when you hear a singer like this, it kind of just makes you melt. This is Marisa.
Como água da nascente, minha mão é transparente aos olhos da minha avó. Entre a terra e o divino, minha avó negra sabia essas coisas do destino. Dessago o mar que vejo nos rios desse desejo, de quem nasceu para cantar. Sandejo feito tejo, de tão cantado que invejo Lisboa para morar.
How can you not smile when you hear something like this? What a singer!
Vejo cabelo entrançado e o canto morto de fado num cheiro de caracóis. Como num conto de fadas, os batuques são guitarra e os coqueiros girassóis. Minha avó negra
Are you
sabia
crazy?
ler as coisas do destino na palma de cada olhar. Se queira vir ou que não queira, disse Deus à feiticeira. Nasci para cantar, nasci para cantar, nasci para cantar, nasci para cantar.
There's a lot of women in this playlist tonight. I don't know why. It's like that. Why not? Just stay with Marisa. Obrigado, Marisa.
Nasceu de ser português, fez a vida pelo mundo, foi pro sonho vagabundo, foi pela terra abraçado, bem querido, amado, o fado, bem querido, amado, o fado. Viveu de ser português, foi alegre, foi gitano, por ser um fado em canção, por ser futuro é passado, mal querido ou bem amado. O fado, mal querido ou bem amado. O fado.
You know, for years I've been doing The Voice in France, and I've been doing, I did X Factor in Italy, and I did Casa Mika. This is Casa Mika. Questo è casa nostra. Infatti sui social adesso siamo tutti a casa. Possiamo comunicare in una maniera incredibile. Ho riguardato un po' di Casa Mika in questi ultimi giorni e mi sono detto, mamma mia, uno show che parla della casa, in quella maniera lì, con tantissima fantasia e tantissima fantasia e anche magia. E mi manca un po', mi manca quello show. I did this show in Italy called Stasera a Casa Mika, which means tonight at Mika's house, which is ironic considering what we're doing right now, because we're in the kitchen. I did cook things, but I didn't really cook. And when I opened the fridge, instead of having, eggs and lactose-free milk, which is completely delusional, by the way, they just add lactate, there would be Monica Bellucci popping out of it, or I would open a box and there would be Kylie Minogue jumping out of a present, or I would open my wardrobe and a hand would come out, and that hand was Dita Von Teese, who would then proceed to take off all her clothes and then take mine, leaving me naked on stage and her flying off on this giant silvery moon wearing my suit. Here, there's no tricks, there's no Dita, there's no Monica Bellucci in the fridge, there's just us. And weirdly, in this incredibly strange moment that we're all living, it feels even more magical. So it's a respite. At least for me, it's made me really happy in these past 30, 40 minutes being in front of you guys, talking nonsense. So I hope you're not bored of me. Wrong part. The right one. Look, the sauce is coming along. Check this out. It's looking like sauce. It doesn't taste like it yet, but it's looking like it. My hair's a mess. I did all that TV and I always had a hairdresser like Geraldine. Gigi Wichu! And now it shows you, you can make TV with a mobile phone. Actually, TV is probably going to change forever. TV is not going to be the same after this. It's just not. I think it's time for a little bit of this. You all wanted a music video for this song. Here's your music video. Everything you see that a girl wakes up with makeup and a heart on her sleeve. She says, better be yourself, you're making every other girl out there.